Welcome back to the Hollywood Happy Hour podcast. This is episode number 4. We took a bit of a hiatus. We were working everything out with all the internet stuffs. I'm still rather new to the podcast game, so figuring out how to get it on iTunes and get the RSS feeds. It was a bit of a learning experience for me. I'm not the best guy when it comes to the internet and to tech, but we're getting there. Tonight I brought on Michael Schwarcz. He is an independent film director. We've talked to a director of photography / producer and a couple of actors in our last 3 episodes, and I figured we would kick it up a notch and talk a little bit about directing. A little bit about Michael. Michael is a young, very talented, very ambitious film director. He's one of the first people I met when I moved to Los Angeles. He was just fresh out of high school and starting at USC and cast me in his first student film called Paranoia. It's on YouTube, somewhere on my YouTube channel, I'm sure. And we've worked together on smaller projects throughout his college career and even after his college career. I think he's directed me something like 10 times. He's definitely one of those directors I've stuck to as much as possible, trying to ride those coattails. You got to do that. You have to do that if you're an actor. You have to find casting directors that think you're talented and directors that think you're talented that are going to continue to put you up for jobs and believe in you and help you grow and help you become the actor that you want to be. So that's what I've done. And, I know there's going to be many future collaborations there. So I brought him on to talk about what his upcoming projects are, talk a little bit about what it's like to be a film student at USC in California, talk about what it's like to be a director in this day and age when it comes to the internet age that we live in, and what his dreams and aspirations are as a director. We didn't have as much time with him as I would have liked, but that's okay. I think we got a pretty good interview in there. So sit back, grab yourself something to sip on, and welcome back to the Hollywood Happy Hour podcast for episode 4 with Michael Schwarcz. Here we go. All right, Michael, we are recording. Welcome to the Hollywood Happy Hour podcast.
Awesome.
Have you ever done a podcast before?
I have not done a podcast before.
That's pretty exciting. Are you excited?
I'm incredibly excited.
Okay, real quick, I gave a quick intro letting people know that I met you. You were one of the first people I met when I came to Los Angeles, and you had just graduated high school, and you were doing the summer, what do you call that, the summer program?
Yeah, summer program at USC.
At USC, and our first thing we did together was a video for your production class called Paranoia.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you find me on that? Was that like an LA casting thing?
Yeah, that was LA casting, and then you came in and auditioned, and you just mimed out a scene of you getting into an elevator and pretending that you thought someone was going to kill you.
I got to be honest, I don't remember the audition at all.
I remember it. You were good.
Yeah, I got the part.
Way better than everybody else that auditioned.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, and then but I remember filming it, and I remember like it felt how I wanted filmmaking to feel with the director. You know what I mean? And I mentioned in the intro that we've worked together. How many times did we count last time we worked together?
It's a
lot.
Like 10 or 12 or something.
It's pretty high, which is good. Hopefully we can do it again soon.
Oh, it's going to continue.
This episode of the podcast, I've interviewed director of photography / producer, and the first 2 were about me and Zedric, who are both actors. So this one I kind of want to dedicate to talking about USC and kind of picking your brain about that, talking about being a director in the new internet age, talking about our careers together, and talking about what you have going on. So we've got 4 things to cover, so let's just jump in and tell me how you got started in filmmaking.
Well, I started just like making short films and everything when I was a little kid. So I've known I wanted to be a filmmaker. I actually first thought I wanted to be an actor. That was how it started off. And you picked up a camera to make your own movies so you could act? When did I? I guess I did. I acted in my own movies at first when I was a little kid.
Right. I think I remember seeing them. They were like kind of action-based, action funny, right?
Did I show you some of them?
I think I just saw them on your YouTube. I'm really weird.
Oh, I think you saw my high school movies.
Oh, that might have been what it was.
Because I lost all the movies from when I was like a little kid.
Okay, yeah.
I was not good at file management.
Wow, so you made a lot of them before your USC days.
Yeah, I was making them when I was like 8, 9, 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So your parents were very supportive?
Oh yeah, super supportive, and they also they got me into drama camp every single summer.
Oh,
I was constantly
really?
doing plays throughout the time that I was in middle school and everything.
And I'm going to keep talking about this throughout this episode, but for me, when I talk to younger directors, I always it's very important that directors know how to talk to their actors, and the only way for them to know how to talk to their actors is to be a bit of an actor themselves, and that's why I think you're such a great director, because you've been trained on how to make the pictures, how to use the camera and tell a story, but you also know what it takes to be an actor. And so you respect the art of acting, you respect actors, and you know how to speak that language because you've done it.
Yeah, I definitely think it helps a lot, and I actually definitely want to do like more acting classes in the future.
You
just
should,
so I can like try and improve even more, because I haven't taken acting classes since like middle school, unfortunately. So.
It'd be interesting, I think, to see now that you're, out of film school and, in a different state of mind, to like go back into that side of the art and, find some new stuff. And, you're going to be able to stretch way further as an adult than as a kid.
Definitely. So, I was never that great of an actor, though. I think I could like pass, like, and like.
I've seen some of the stuff you did. Like, I mean, you were young. I mean, when I was young.
Oh, that was the movie you're thinking about. You're thinking about the movie I made called Discovery. That was in high school. Yeah, that was like right in the beginning of high school when I was still doing drama camp.
Yeah, you were good.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely had some potential. I mean, you could have gone that route. Was that ever a thought? Like, when did you make a concrete decision? Like, well, I'll be a director.
Well, I started doing filmmaking and acting in middle school, and then there was a time freshman year of high school when I was walking around campus with my camera because I was making some like short films for the school, and I was like, man, I wish I could do this for forever. And I suddenly realized, wait a second. And people do this for a living. Yeah. I can do this. And then I just decided that moment that I was going to become a professional filmmaker.
Interesting. And it never happened with acting. You never said, I could do this as a living.
When I was a little kid.
Right, sure.
That quickly.
But, even Scorsese, he hasn't had an amazingly large body of work as an actor, but he does the cameos and he's made commercials. I mean, he's got more of an acting career than I do. It's So I mean, there's still that thing there that you can do whatever you want.
Sure, yeah.
Especially in this day and age. So, what was your first camera that you were filming on?
My very first camera, or like my first camera that when I like got serious about doing.
Either both of them. Tell me what you were using. What was your first?
Well, my very first one was one of those like really old cameras that like took mini DV tapes, and it was just like a home video camera. Those were fun. I probably went through like 4 or 5 of those. I went through a few. At least one of them was Sony. My favorite one was Sony.
How'd you go through so many? Were you breaking them?
Broke them, and like started off with like a really old one, and then my parents got a new one, and then I took that one eventually, and then that one broke, and then.
So don't tell the rental houses this story.
No, just don't.
My first camera was it took VHS tapes. That's
geez.
How old? Yeah, that's how old I am. And I remember, and I think I might have told this story already, but my grandfather. He was always like, no, you can't use it, because I always wanted to make movies, No, you can't use it. No, you can't use it. You'll break it. And then before I got to use it, the bastard broke it, And I'm like,
so sad.
Why? But then he got another one, and then he was like, you can use it. I think he felt bad, because I probably asked him once a week if I could use the camera. And he always said, I was resilient. That's all, from the time I'm 8 years old, I knew, this is it. This is what I have to do with my life. Do you remember anyone saying, hey, you got to have a backup plan? Did people say that to you at all?
No, not specifically. I actually told myself that quite a few times throughout high school.
You have to
that I had to have a backup plan. For a while, I thought I was going to double major. When I was first applying to colleges, I was like, I got to do film and I got to do something else. When the film career doesn't work out, I have something else to fall back on.
Right.
And then I gave up on that when I actually went to school.
Right. Well, yeah, when you figure out the workload.
Yeah, and I was just filmmaking.
Yeah, I can only handle making these movies. So you start when you're very young. You get a couple of cameras. You break them. You get a couple more. And then, so you're in high school. Do you remember, what were the first reactions to the films you were making? I mean, it had to be positive, right?
Mostly I only showed them to friends and stuff. I would have I had another friend who was really into doing YouTube when it first came out, and so me and him would make videos and see who could get the most views and everything. So I only ever had positive reactions.
That's cool.
Everyone was always really supportive. My parents have always been really supportive of me doing film.
Did they like your work? I mean,
I hope so. They say they do, but they're also my parents.
Sure.
I mean, they're critical enough. They have notes and everything. Whenever
they do.
Oh, for sure.
What are some of their notes that you remember?
Specific
have
notes?
Any of them hit you right in the heart like a dagger?
No, I don't. They've never had a bad note that was just a kill your darling kind of note.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Did you show? I mean, did you ever? When I was in high school, we had these TVs on the in our classrooms, and they did the morning announcements. Did you ever do anything like that? Or
I was in charge of the morning announcements.
I knew it. I knew you were. So did you?
I was the president of the video club. I was the guy I was the like head of we had a Jumbotron on our football field where we like filmed the games and broadcast them on the Jumbotron so that everyone could see it better. I was in charge of that too. I was also
at least you had
leadership, and I was the guy who made all of our promotional videos for all of our dances and different events that we had.
They kept you to work. So did you get special treatment from your teachers, knowing that you had that workload and you were providing that to the school? You kind of had the...
I was also the theater manager, and I was in charge of all the lighting and sound in the theater.
How did you manage to graduate?
I skipped a lot of class.
And they were just fine with it.
There was a guy before me. They were kind of not okay with it because there was a guy before me who did the same thing that I did, and he almost failed out of school.
Wow.
Like he was like they had to beg his teachers to give him passing grades at the end of it.
Wow.
But I actually managed to do it and keep my grades up because he doesn't give a shit about school.
Oh, wow, man. That's such a huge workload. I mean, I was just going to brag about myself, but apparently I was like slacking. I was a slacker though. But I remember like showing stuff on the morning announcements and I was the drama club president and all that. Were you like voted like most likely to be the next Spielberg?
I wasn't. I was really mad about that. Somebody who didn't even do film was voted the most likely to like win an Academy Award. And
what the hell?
Yeah.
We need to.
I didn't win any of those
10-year
awards.
reunion. You need to win an Academy Award by then, so you can walk in and be like, "Look at it, bitch!
You guys didn't vote me for this.
Look how wrong you all were." So you're making movies all throughout there. You're doing the YouTube thing. Now, how old were you when YouTube was like, it came into your mind as like, this is the outlet that I can distribute my work?
I don't think I was thinking about it in terms of like distribution or anything because it came out when I was like in middle school.
Right.
And so around like 8th grade freshman year was when I was starting to think about like actually making YouTube videos and putting them on the internet.
Was it just something like was it not something that you were looking at ambitiously? Was it just something fun and cool to do at the time?
I guess, yeah, it was just fun and cool. I didn't really see like the actual, like I wanted to gain an audience and everything, but I didn't see the actual like business side of things at that point. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't thinking about like actual like monetizing videos or like trying to like gain, get an audience.
They probably didn't monetize that time, but I mean, I remember, I came into it really early and I got scared and like pulled out like a moron. I made these improvisational movies. I don't want to call them movies, improvisational videos, where it was me and two other guys, and we would just pass the camera around. Essentially, I would direct them. We would have a premise, and we would just go. And we did these little videos, and I would put them up on YouTube because I had no idea what I was doing. And one of them actually started getting a lot of views. It was like, at one point it was like 1,000 and then a few more thousand. And then before I knew it, it was in like 30,000.
Nice.
And I remember my mom got in my head because she was like, is this what you want to show the world? She was like, what if you're, 10 years from now and they pull this up and Jay Leno's interviewing you? And I should have been smart enough to be like, Jay Leno won't be interviewing, but it doesn't matter. But I got scared and I was like, yeah, like what if this isn't a good thing to have because the internet is kind of forever? And so I deleted them like a moron. But if I would have kept going, I wonder when the monetization happened, if I would have just been this YouTube,
you could have been the next Smosh or something.
Whatever. I mean, so I mean, I definitely learned a lesson there. But YouTube's. So how, do you still do things? When you make your films, do you think, well, this will go to YouTube at the end of the day?
When I make things now, I pretty much specifically have a vision for where it's going to go when I'm making it. So if I'm making something for YouTube, I have a completely different mindset about like every aspect of the production versus whether or not I'm going to make something for a short film for a film festival.
Right.
Because I'm thinking about it in terms of like, I feel like there's different levels of quality you need to achieve for YouTube and different levels of quality for a film festival.
Well, obviously with the film festival, it's got to look and sound amazing. It can't, I feel like still for YouTube, you can get away with like shitty audio quality or, mediocre pictures or, you see a lot of bad acting. But and especially, I don't know how aware of the actor world you are, but as actors, we're all told to create our own content. So every single actor comes up with a web series. It's usually called Roommates. I don't know why. Dude, I have no idea why. Type in Roommates web series on YouTube and watch it's going to be like 38 actors from LA, talking about how they're broke actors and they live with their roommates, blah 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 blah. Or else every web series is like a bit of a spin-off of that. I mean, there are some that are good, but I mean, they're just.
I love that they're all called roommates.
I don't know why, dude. Because that's what you do. I mean, when I first moved here, I had roommates, and it was like you write what you know, especially when you're not a writer. These actors don't come out here thinking, I want to do a web series when I get out there. I think that's the best thing I could do. They find out how hard it is to get work these days and that you have to have a following. So they go, oh, shit, let's write a web series as quick as possible so that we can get our careers moving forward. And they don't really try to be original. They just try to get content out there because that's all they're told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I say like different like levels of quality though, I don't mean like shitty audio quality or anything like that. Like you definitely, if you're making a YouTube video, because there's such a high standard now with everyone else who's making them, like people like Quarter Digital and Freddie W and everything.
Yeah.
Like those videos are such high quality that you definitely have to be able to meet that bar. But those videos don't really look like something that you would expect to see in a like feature film or a short film festival.
You're right, they look different.
Yeah, they just have a completely different, like more DIY feel to them, even though they still look real and high quality.
Yeah.
And it's not really that much of like a film look.
Yeah. And I definitely think, there is a bit of, the thing is though, even if you make something for the film festivals, it should end up on YouTube. I mean, at some point, even though it may not fit this like what you're talking about, this standard that YouTube has right now with the whole Freddie W look. But I mean, what aggravates me is like if you go to IMDb and you type in, Don Cheadle. This first actor I can
Don
think of,
Cheadle, yes.
And you see he did a short film, and you go to look for it on YouTube, and it's not there. There's nothing more infuriating to me.
Well, I don't
know why.
Part of that is that certain film festivals won't accept your film if it's already been distributed online.
Well, yeah, but if it's like 10 years later, if it's like
10
Don
years,
Cheadle
okay,
did
yeah,
a short film in 2004, I don't think he did, but let's say he did, and it's not on YouTube. That's so infuriating, and that's something.
Maybe it's on Vimeo,
Let's talk about that for a minute, because I definitely want to keep talking about this new internet age that we're living in as filmmakers. Vimeo has been around for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have nowhere near the same traffic that YouTube has. Why are people still using Vimeo?
Because they have a very specific goal with what they do and what they want people to upload there, and the type of people they want watching the videos, I guess. Because they specifically market themselves as like an artist platform. Right. It's like YouTube, like
upload your
video
cat
games
video.
and cat videos and all that kind of stuff. That's huge on YouTube.
Yeah.
And on Vimeo, they don't even accept a lot of that kind of stuff. They just want straight up like short films and like different like artistic pieces.
Yeah.
So they're trying to go for a very specific audience.
So they do turn down videos?
Certain types of videos. I know they would turn down like video game videos and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Is it the same as YouTube where they'll like kill your video if it has other people's licensed content? And
I would assume they would. Yeah. I assume they would.
I just feel like and not to really slam Vimeo, but every time I've gone to search for something there, their search engine on that site is horrible.
I don't watch anything on Vimeo.
But that's my point. No one does, but people still use it. Just throw it on YouTube. The search there is so good because they've employed, Google owns them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've employed everything that Google has, where if you do a search, their little algorithm with all the tags and everything that people put on there, they'll scan it away and whatever. I'm not a tech guy, but 9 times out of 10, you could be a complete idiot typing in random words. You'll still find what you were looking for.
Oh, definitely. And also, like, the channel organization's way better and everything.
I
know. People like the video player on Vimeo better.
I agree with that. And it's definitely got this whole highbrow.
It's very highbrow.
We are the artsy filmmakers and we put our art films on Vimeo. We will not be caught dead on YouTube. No one talks like that anymore.
Vimeo people do.
Vimeo people only.
Like everyone on Vimeo talks exactly like that.
Completely like that. Vimeo owner doesn't, though. The guy who invented it, he's like, why are all these people are doing
this isn't what I made this for.
So
what are you all doing here? Go away.
Exactly. Okay, so with the films you've made, have some of them ended up specifically on Vimeo and some on YouTube? Is that how you've worked as well?
Yeah, like pretty much every film that I've made with you is on Vimeo right now.
But I uploaded some of them on YouTube. So
they're on YouTube too then.
Okay, let's talk about this. Is it okay for something to be on YouTube and Vimeo?
It depends. If you're just trying to get it out there so that people can see it, that's totally fine. If you're specifically, you don't want to split your views is the main issue. So if you're specifically trying to prove to somebody that people want to watch my video, and like this is my work and this is how many people are interested in watching it, then you usually want to have it just in one place.
Which views do you think are more important, Vimeo views or YouTube views?
I have no idea. I have no idea which one's like a high-powered studio executive would value more. Whichever one can make them more money, I would assume. And I would assume that
I'm going to assume it's YouTube as well, just because it's more commercial. And you know, I mean, I've been doing a lot of, not a lot, some research into how, you know, important this stuff is, because, you know, earlier this year there was this article that kind of got a bit of attention that from casting folks, and believe me, the media took this and this little seed of an idea, and you know how they do, they trim it down and then make it what they want it to be. But the article is basically saying that like talent is only 10% of why you're cast, and that, you know, your views and subscribers and your likes and your followers, etc., all that plays a bigger part into you getting cast in a role than your talent does. Which I don't completely buy, but I mean, I totally get that they want as many viewers to watch it as possible, and if they've got this guy who's on Vine with 1 million, 2 million followers, cast him over the guy that's not on the internet at all, has 0 followers. I mean, totally, those followers are worth money. So I gotta guess that you're gonna get more traffic on YouTube. You're gonna get in. I think those views might matter more.
Yeah, I definitely would think they would, especially if they're consistent views. Like, you don't want, like, if you just have like that one hit wonder, sure, that might not mean that much. But like, if you actually consistently have pretty big hitting videos, like that's gonna mean a lot to.
I think so.
People.
Well, and you know, I mean, I don't know what I'm still learning. Like, what you have to do to get, you know, the idea of creating a viral video doesn't really make me feel good. You know, I don't, like you said, I don't want to be this one-hit wonder who did a silly video. You know, I take myself a bit more seriously, says the guy who's making a podcast.
Hey, podcasts are very serious.
Super serious, man. This is a serious podcast, bro. You know, I'm still learning about how it all works and what it means, but I know the story of, do you go on Vine at all?
I go on Vine a little bit.
I've told this story
mostly just
before.
when I see links on Facebook.
Sure. So this kid, I think he's younger than I am. His name's Andrew Batchelor. He goes by the name King Batch. The day he got 1 million followers, he starts getting calls from his manager saying, come on in. He gets signed by UTA, the biggest talent agency in the world.
Damn.
And his life changed when he got 1 million followers on Vine, making 6.5-second videos. You bet your ass when I heard that story, I picked up my camera phone and started making Vines, you know? And it's like, I'm still learning to not be such, I guess, a snob. And so I guess that's why I'm asking these questions about Vimeo, is like, is that another thing that we're doing as the rebellious artists that we are, to be snobs?
I guess that makes sense. I think the main thing is we need to not be worrying about like getting big on YouTube or Vine or something. We need to be worrying about what the next big platform is going to be, and we need to be the people who first get big on that.
You better believe it, because I know that like Bieber and like this kid, the guy, I'm not gonna call him a kid, King Batch. I know that they have this new app, this platform called Shots, which is basically
they started it.
I don't know if they started it. I think it was. No, they didn't start it. Somebody else started it, but they kind of like are representing it. I think Bieber might own it, actually. And anyway, it's like Instagram, but specifically for selfies.
Interesting.
And it's interesting, and I'm like, is this something I'm missing out on? Should I be on that platform? Is that where everyone is? And you know, is how long of a shelf life do these apps / sites or whatever have? I mean, is there going to be a day when Instagram is just like, well, MySpace, right?
Everything's going to come to an end eventually, and something else is going to replace it.
Dude, MySpace still has a lot of traffic, though, which I don't...
Does it, though?
I mean, many millions.
What do they do?
I don't know. I haven't been on there. I haven't been on MySpace since probably 2007.
I never even had a MySpace.
I'm old.
Yeah. I mean, MySpace was around. My friends had them. I just didn't. I was
didn't do it.
I was rebellious. I've always been rebellious with social media.
Right.
Yeah, well, I didn't have a Facebook for years.
Now you're in show business and you have to whore yourself. How do you feel about that? Because you can't
do what you gotta do.
You can't just be an artist anymore.
I'm still avoiding Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I
need to get Twitter though.
I'm on all of them because I feel like, I'm not going to leave any stone rock unturned. I mean, I got to be there and build that content. That's all that's on my mind, and it's almost, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. How much is that on your mind as a director and a filmmaker? I mean, building content for yourself.
It's on my mind a lot.
Yeah.
Like right now I'm starting up a production company, which we're going to be starting up a YouTube channel for. And so we
there
actually...
There you go, YouTube.
Yeah, we're starting
Vimeo,
up a YouTube channel. Nope. I'll put short films on Vimeo. I'm not going to produce things just for Vimeo, though.
Right.
That's where short films go after you're done with the festival circuit.
Sure.
Or YouTube. But
I feel like it's better to go with YouTube because you're never going to make money off of your short film on Vimeo.
But Vimeo's so artistic.
Ugh. Maybe I've just been beaten into submission by the system, but I don't know. I'd rather make something out of this short film that I've slaved over, And if you have that possibility of making $5 off the monetization deal with YouTube, why not do it? I don't know.
It makes sense.
I've got a lot of thinking, soul searching to do, Michael. So we're talking about you building content. Before we go into that, talk to me about give me your top 5 favorite directors.
Obviously Spielberg, which is such a I don't know. I like really big directors.
Don't be ashamed of who you like.
I'm totally into blockbuster movies.
And we're gonna get all Don't be ashamed, Michael, of who you like. Just tell the world who you like. Don't worry about them judging you.
My 2 favorite movies, I just think they're just amazing movies, are Saving Private Ryan and Forrest Gump.
Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah, Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Pointing to the Back to the Future poster.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And how do you feel about this guy over here, Quentin Tarantino?
I mean, I like his movies, but he's an asshole. So I don't want to say I like him.
Right, but you like his movies.
I like his movies. Okay. I don't like Reservoir Dogs. Everyone says it's such a good movie. I don't get it.
You don't get it?
No, I don't get it.
You don't see the genius in having a heist movie where you never see the heist?
40 minutes into the movie, I was like, when's this going to start? And then I stopped it and I never went back.
Oh, you never finished it?
No.
You can't judge something you've
so
never
boring.
finished. Finish the movie.
I can judge it by the first 40 minutes of it.
Sure, but
it was terrible.
Do you want somebody to do that to your movie? Watch only...
Hopefully I'll be able to engage somebody over the first 40 minutes.
Oh, boy. I've seen that movie a lot, actually. All right, what else do I got in here? What about Dark Knight? How do you feel about Chris Nolan?
I don't like Dark Knight Rises that much. I don't like Inception.
You don't like Inception?
No, it makes no sense. It's a fun movie. Yeah. It's entertaining.
Uh-huh.
But there's so many logical fallacies.
Interesting.
Drove me nuts. I love the college humor video.
You're a very literal person.
I'm very literal.
Artistically,
kind of too literal sometimes.
So you're like, fuck you, Picasso.
I don't get abstract art, dude. Seriously. Painting is, I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, good to know. I
always feel really uncultured because I don't like painting and abstract art.
Did you have to take art history in college?
Nope. I didn't have to take that.
Okay, we're going to get to USC in a minute because I've got a bone to pick.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick it with you.
Okay.
But, so we're talking about, you said, so on your list right now, you got Spielberg and Zemeckis. Is Zemeckis one of your favorite directors?
He has so many good movies. I guess he's got to be one of my favorite directors.
Yeah, dude.
There's no way he can't be on that list.
He directed Castaway.
Oh, man.
Flight.
What are my other... Flight was a good movie. That was a surprisingly good movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was blown away by that.
Scarred me. Man, holy cow.
Who else are my favorite directors? I never think about this.
You need 3 more.
Damn, I'm not going to be able to do this.
J.J. Abrams?
No, I don't think he'd be... I like his movies.
Yeah?
He did a good job with Star Trek movies. He pissed me off a little bit with those, but whatever.
Okay.
But they were entertaining.
So, let's how about...
He hasn't...
Can we talk about my favorite?
Let's talk about J.J. Abrams movie that would, put him on my favorite list.
How'd you feel about Super 8?
It's a good movie. But
not one of your favorites?
Yeah, no.
How do you feel about Martin Scorsese?
Martin Scorsese is great.
Is he on your list?
I don't know.
Not really.
He's a very because he's a great director and his movies are fantastic. Uh-huh. But I don't know if I'm super into that style and genre that he does.
I wish I could say that I was surprised that you said Zemeckis and Spielberg though, because that's how I describe your films. I always have to your face. I'll be like, you're like young Spielberg. That's how I describe your style. You. And is that intentional or is it just something that happened?
It's just something that happened. I don't try to copy Spielberg.
No, not copy. That's kind of a bad word.
not necessarily. Quentin Tarantino says he copies people, or people say he copies people because he worked in the.
I think he says he copies
video store and everything. I don't listen to what he says very much. I just listen to what other people say about him.
The polite word is not copy; it's giving homage.
Oh, true.
That's what the Vimeo people say. So we got Spielberg and Zemeckis. So let's go there. So we were talking about building your content. Do you have? I mean, where do you want to stand in this industry? Because we deal with a world that has Vimeo and Vine making 7-second videos and YouTube that you can do this monetization channel and make these sketches, short films, etc. In the world that you live in, where it feels like audiences have an extremely short attention span, where do you want to stand with all that?
You mean versus like being online or being like in the traditional studio system? Just in
general, where do you want to be? Or do you want to be, and then let's talk about that. There's studio system, then there's the independent route, making $100,000 budget, ultra low budget feature films, or $5 million, or do you want to be making those big exorbitant amount budget Spielberg?
I want to be making blockbusters. Okay. I love blockbusters so much. They're just something about them is magical.
Let's talk about Michael Bay. How do you feel about that guy?
I enjoy his movies. I'm not going to say he's one of my top 5 directors.
How you feeling about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers 4?
Both of those were awful. The first Transformers movie was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that movie.
I did too. You are probably the most honest person with movies that I have talked to in a while. Okay.
I'm pretty critical.
Like, hey, you suck.
I'm not as critical as a lot of people, because I know a lot of very critical people.
I like that you're honest. Yeah. Well, some people throw cheap shots from the sidelines, but
I'm willing to say that a movie's good even though it has problems, because you're very rarely going to find a perfect movie. That was just bad.
Oh boy. Okay.
It's rare that I can't get through a movie.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised. Frankly, I'm completely surprised. How are you with older movies, like classics?
I can tolerate them. There's some good ones.
All right.
I had to take. We do have to take a lot of classes at USC where we watch very old movies. And
not old, classic
movies.
But how do you? Give me some of your favorites. Do you have favorite old classic movies?
Favorite old movies? Okay. Hitchcock. I had to take a class all about Hitchcock.
I remember you were so excited we talked about this.
I loved that class. That was the first time I was watching classic movies, and I was actually enthralled by them.
Well, yeah. He
was like Shadow of a Doubt. That. At first we started watching, I was like, this is stupid. And then an hour in, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Have you seen a lot of his work?
Now I have, because of that class.
Yeah. How many did you have to watch?
At least 15 or 20 of his movies.
Wow.
Yeah, we watched a lot of them.
He made a shit ton of them, but so you got all the highlights.
Yeah.
So you Notorious and...
We saw Notorious, we saw Psycho, we saw... Rear Window, of course.
Dude,
I'd already seen that one. That was one of the few I'd seen before that class.
Dude, Tarantino owns the New Beverly Theater. Have you been there?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh, because he only screens films on film. He projects on film.
Are you saying really? That seems like something you would do. Totally.
No, dude, it is amazing. And I saw Rear Window there screened, and it's an older print, so it pops, it crackles, it's got scratches on some of it. But dude, I tell you, I've seen the digital version, on TV, and compared to that, it was mind-blowing.
That was one of the coolest things about the Hitchcock class, is that our teacher's really into watching things on film, so he always gets original prints. And we're watching them in the giant theater at USC.
So there's 1 point towards USC. So let's segue into that. We'll come back to your future and your present. Let's keep going into your history here. So let's talk about USC. So what made you choose USC over let's say AFI or Chapman or NYU?
I didn't get into any of them.
And also, you were too busy working on the friggin' Jumbotron.
Exactly. Yeah, it's my school's fault.
So USC will just take anybody.
I didn't get into USC either. That's why I went to the summer program.
But they let you into the summer program.
They let me into... Okay, so ever since I was in middle school, if you asked me what school I wanted to go to, I would say USC or UCLA. I dropped UCLA when I was in college because I was like, fuck that, they suck.
So AFI never came into your mind?
I didn't even know AFI was a thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
To me, they're number one.
I learned...
far number one.
To me, USC's number one. But
well, that's because you're alma mater and you have to say that.
I'm working with a bunch of AFI guys right now.
We're going to keep talking about this, but keep going.
But
I'm going to give you my pros and cons.
So I applied to school, senior year of high school, and I only got into SF State. I applied to all the top film schools, NYU,
it was
Chapman,
heartbreaking to see you
Loyola,
go,
USC.
but I'm glad, you, and when you were like, I'm coming back to USC, though, because you left for how many years?
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
You were gone 1 year and came back to USC.
Yeah, because I went straight to the summer program after school, after high school. And then
that was probably the smartest thing
State.
you could have done, because if you had just gone to SF State and not known what USC really had to offer.
Oh, I wouldn't have stood a chance of getting in either. I only got in because I did the summer program.
Did they tell you that?
The first day of the summer program, our teacher said, just so you guys know, if any of you guys want to go to USC, summer program kids go in a different pile in admissions. And I also got a recommendation from the professor in that class.
Well, because your films right away were good. You knew what you were doing. I mean, and that's the thing, isn't it? How many... I'm sure you sat through a ton of really just shit short films, student films, haven't you?
I mean, it's inevitable in film school. I'm sure some people didn't like my short films too, though. It's inevitable.
Okay, so I've talked about this a lot already.
I don't want to be pretentious. And
no, it's not.
Everyone else's films were terrible.
It's okay to be honest about this stuff because we have to be. I mean, look, there's some people that had never made a movie before, had never picked up a camera, that came into USC and was like, "I'm a filmmaker. I want to be in the pictures," And you had all this experience. You were already ahead of the game. It's like LeBron James in high school.
Yeah.
That's the only time you were LeBron James in high school. Was with cameras. Me too. I was like, no.
I mean, just having that technical knowledge helps you so much because you're not starting from the very beginning.
Well, you knew how to edit and tell the story and how to, like you said, kill your darlings. You knew how to handle the cameras. You knew how to act and talk to actors. I mean, when we made Paranoia, it was like you had been doing it for years, which you had. Whereas, and I talk about this a lot. I've done a lot of student films, a lot of them. Because I like to stay sharp and I just love working and learning and being in front of the camera and watching myself. But, I've worked with some really shit student filmmakers that I hate to say this, but it's like, well, you're either going to be a career PA or you're going to quit after 2 years because you just don't have it. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to overly pat you on the back, but I am because I'm very proud of you. You have it. And I knew that, and that's probably why I've stuck to you and come running every single time. You're like, hey, I have this thing. Will you do it? Yeah, duh.
I appreciate that.
Very few people have it. So, I know you've sat through a lot of them. I make this joke a lot that there's 5 to 6 student films. Mm-hmm. Have you heard me talk about this?
I don't think so.
There's the suicide film.
Yes. I saw you act in one of those.
Yeah. I was all right. The I'm a musician film.
I've seen those.
The I'm gay film.
I've seen those.
The I'm an artist, poor artist, fighting my parents film.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
It's overdone,
I don't know if I ever ran into one of those.
And then the post-traumatic stress disorder.
I've seen that.
Student film.
Yep.
And there's probably a couple others.
I've also seen a million I'm a ballerina, my parents are way too hard on me films.
That's it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm an artist.
Oh,
Not
okay.
just painting artist. I'm some kind of artist and my parents hate me and I'm a rebel.
No. They want the kid to be a ballerina. The kid doesn't want to be a ballerina, and they put too much pressure on the kid. That's the ballerina film.
And those are the kids that when they direct me, I go, get out of fucking art school, moron. You obviously are telling me through your art you hate this. Why are you doing this to yourself? Yeah, you're gonna have that all the time though, and I've ran into certain directors that. And some that we both know, I'll talk to you about that off microphone, that I had to literally say, man, go take an acting class. And I mean that with love because you don't know how to direct actors or talk to actors. And it's going to help you figure out, one, learn more about the art and help you figure out how to talk to your actors, especially ones that have spent a lot of time in front of the camera. Because I've done all those cliche student films and the short films and this, and I'm not saying I'm the greatest actor in the world. Definitely not. I'm not the most experienced actor in the world. I'm definitely not. But I do have a certain set of skills, like Liam Neeson. I do have this thing, and I'm very creative, and I love when it's a team effort. This creative synergy happening. And it's like playing chess. If you're really good at it and you can see 10 moves ahead, and this person's like, how do pawns move? You get fucking aggravated.
Yeah, I can understand
hate getting aggravated on set and being the dick that's like, come on, figure it out. We already moved the rook up here, and this comes down here, and checkmate. And they're like, hey, we haven't even hit record yet. And I'm like, I see what's happening. I see what we need to do. Can we do it now? And then they're like standing around like, no, let's take another 20 hours to look at this and have you sit.
It's a classic problem on film sets that I run into a lot is directors who just don't know exactly what they want.
And it goes all the way up to feature films, man. I mean, I've been on those sets where, it's very simple, but it's like, some people have it and some don't. But what do you think it takes? And what I mean by this is like, what do you think somebody needs to do to train themselves, to give themselves the best foot forward on being a good director on set?
I think the most important thing
besides acting classes
is just preparation. Well, when it comes to actually like communicating with your actors, you're asking your actors to be able to relate to this character that you've created and that you want them to be able to portray. So you need to be able to relate to your actor. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to build a trust between you and them and be able to communicate effectively what your ideas are going to be and what you want them to do.
Yeah.
And so it's really important that you're able to actually like understand what they're going through, because acting is not easy. And as far as actually like telling a good story, I always think the most important thing is preparation, because I don't think a lot of directors prepare that much.
I don't either. What do you do to prepare? Do you do storyboards, shot lists?
I do everything.
Yeah.
I do a lot of assistant directing too in the past few years.
Yeah.
And so I am just like anal about preparation on set and knowing exactly what's going to happen on set.
I got to give you credit. You're the first person to say anal on my podcast.
Hooray! I'm breaking boundaries. And so I understand some things have to be like figured out on set. Like you don't want to like constrict your actors to very specific blocking.
Well, not even just your actors. You can't constrict yourself to everything that's going to happen on set. I mean, you could miss the best shot in your film because you were too set. And that's a big lesson that I've learned. Let's just stick to as an actor. I mean, I remember my acting teacher, Ben Davis, looked at me and he was like, "Stop trying to plan the scene. You're ruining it by trying to plan what's going to happen. You're so good at improvisation. You're so good at this. Stop planning. Just do it. Just live." And I think, does that work the same way for a director?
You definitely have to be able to actually, like, because basically, especially when it comes to student films, nothing's ever going to be exactly how you imagine it in your head, because you just don't have the money or the resources to make that happen. So once you're on set, you need to be able to live in this space and actually see your scene in that space and adapt to whatever is actually, like, in front of you.
Do you feel that, I mean, look, you said student film. I mean, doesn't that go all the way up, even if you can CGI everything? I mean, it's not going to nothing's ever going to be exactly what you planned in your head, though.
I mean, you can get... I don't know. Damn close. I haven't worked on like a ton of like big feature films or anything. I haven't gotten quite to that point in my career.
Well,
but
get your shit together.
I would imagine that yes, it does get to that point where...
I mean, you probably can get pretty close. I mean,
there's always going to be roadblocks, and there's always going to be something that you have to work around.
If you got $50 million, I'm sure even then... Because, that's what every producer says, is they keep asking for more money, even when they have...
Yeah, it's never enough.
Blah, blah, blah. I mean, what did James Cameron spend on Avatar or whatever?
Wasn't it like $500 million or something?
Something crazy.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he was like, can we get like, another 10? And they're like, no! Just make the damn movie. The movie's 2 hours long. Just make it.
I mean, I've been, like, since being in school, I've been working on things that are, like, slowly, like, larger and larger budgets. Mm-hmm. And each time it doesn't feel like we have more money.
Right.
Because the scale of the project always increases when you increase the budget. Yeah. So all your costs automatically inflate, and therefore you really don't have any more money. You're just dealing with a larger project.
Yeah. So here's I want to, we're getting close to running out of time here, so I want to dive into this. Here's the bone I got to pick with USC, is that when I've worked with AFI students, I see a certain quality, and I don't know if they just have bigger budgets for their films or what it is, but I can definitely see a difference. And I know that, Spielberg and Lucas have put their stamp of approval on USC, and I know it is a good school. It's definitely it's in that top 5 contender list. But and it used to be rated the top school. That's the school you want to get into.
It still is. Hollywood Reporter just named it #1 film school again.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird, because when I've worked on AFI films, I'm like, this is totally different. So different. I mean, so much. I don't know if they're getting better training or what. So I guess my bone to pick is like, is it possible that... I mean, how are they picking these ratings on Hollywood Reporter?
Well, I can tell you exactly why you're finding this difference.
Okay, go for it. I want to hear this. This is good stuff.
And I think this is what I think, just from talking to AFI students and the little I know about their school. Mm-hmm. And also, is AFI only grad school or is it undergrad too?
That
I think it might only be grad school, so they might also be older people that you're working with.
Well, that may be. I mean,
I don't know that much about AFI, but I'm working with a bunch of them right now, and from what I can tell, working with them,
most of them were grad students.
But they were all grad students I'm working with.
All
right
grad
now.
Students.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting, and I want you to make sure you don't forget what you're going to say. I find it hilarious when someone's like, "Yeah, it was like a law major throughout, and I got a bachelor's in law, and then I switched over to film." Like, so you're coming into this fresh? Like, you had the summer program at USC, and then did the whole thing there, and I'm like, oh shit, But still, those guys come out with really great films.
They do.
And I've been in a lot of not so great films from USC.
What I would attribute that to is that obviously there's two sides to filmmaking. There's the very technical side, the logistics, the planning, the actual equipment,
Producing.
the use of the equipment, and making everything work well. And that a lot of logistics and actual technicality of the film sets actually contributes to how smooth your film set's going to go, and actually helps a lot with the quality of your storytelling as well.
Yeah.
USC chooses to only focus on the artistic side of filmmaking, the storytelling aspects. They don't care about teaching you how to they delve into a little bit because you have to, but they don't think it's that important to teach you how to budget out your film that much or schedule it. They teach you the bare bones basics of that.
But don't you feel like that's putting filmmakers in such... Okay, for instance, when an actor goes to theater school, they don't tell you anything about how to market yourself or how to get an agent or a manager. That's a big disservice.
It kind of is, yeah.
And I feel the same way when it comes to film school, that they're not... one of my good friends, Bobby, was a directing major at, I think it was South Carolina Institute of the Arts. And he had to take acting classes. My girlfriend's brother is up in San Francisco at the Art Institute, has to take acting classes. They don't make you guys take acting classes at USC.
Nope, we can. But
you can, but most choose not to.
They also don't have that good of a relationship with the School of Dramatic Arts at USC.
Which is a total mind fuck.
Yeah, we're all confused by it too.
And it's been years, and actually the theater program is quickly catching up to how good of a rating the film program has. It's becoming one of the better theater schools as well, just like NYU. It's finally starting to balance out. So, if you're just focusing on storytelling, I feel like they're doing a complete disservice to their film students, because with AFI, I feel like these guys come out knowing how to budget, how to talk to their DP.
They do.
So how is USC rated number 1 then? And I'm not trying to throw USC under the bus. I want to figure this out for anyone who might be a film student or a future film student listening to this.
It's just a way of thinking about what's important with the education. Because basically USC's logic is that you're not coming here to learn a technical skill. You're coming here to learn how to tell a story and how to make a good movie. Because all the technical stuff is stuff that you can learn outside of class by working on other people's projects, by being a PA and slowly working your way up and assisting a producer. That's all very easy ways to learn all the tech side.
Which reflects what you've been doing since you got out of film school, right?
That's the only reason why I know this stuff is because I did it outside of class.
You've done PA work outside of class, grip, AD. After film school, what have you been up to?
Since film school, I produced a graduate thesis film at USC. I also have AD'd 5 or 6 short films. AD'd a commercial, PA'd on 2 big commercials, and right now I'm production coordinating a big project at USC, and I'm going to be line producing a Columbia thesis.
Columbia's a good school.
Yeah, and it's
I wanted to go to Columbia, Chicago. Yeah. So, I guess my point with it is, I'm not trying to throw USC under the bus. I mean, it's still the film school I wish I would have gone to. But now that I'm more experienced in making films with these schools, because I've worked with Chapman and LA Film School, USC, AFI, Columbia, there's someplace in Pasadena, Pasadena Institute of the Arts, or something like that. I just feel like I think that the school could step up and teach a little bit more, because you guys take production. That's the name of a class. Teach people how to budget and prepare them for what happens when you get out of school.
The technical lessons they give are pretty sad.
What do you mean?
They're really bad.
Oh, no.
They taught us how to AD one day, and I'd already been a second AD in a few sets, and I was like, this is not right at all.
Dude!
Because none of the people teaching us had ever been an AD.
Would you recommend people to go to USC Film School?
Absolutely. I loved it.
Because it was fun?
Because I learned all the technical stuff outside of class. I was on set every single weekend, making sure I was getting out there and... Like, I've worked a ton with the grad students who are all really good producers.
So let's rewind back to the beginning of this podcast. You are a freak, and you have to remember that. You are the wonderkind who was running the theater as a theater manager in high school. You were running the friggin' Jumbotron and filming football games, making short films on YouTube, and shooting from the time you're 8. Let's talk about the shy kid with no experience who really wants to be a filmmaker. He's... never done anything before. He's 18, just graduated high school. What school does he go to?
It depends what he wants to do. Does he want to be a director or a producer?
Director.
USC.
You think they make better directors at USC?
I mean, I haven't been to any other school, but I think that USC does a great job of teaching people how to direct and how to produce from a creative standpoint.
Okay, so I pressed my thumb hard enough. I'm going to back off now. I just wanted to see how hard I could press and see if you would still stand by it. The fact that you still stand by it gives me more confidence in them, and I'm very confident in you. So I think, let's call it a draw then.
Okay.
Because I think AFI prepares students better when they leave school and go out into the real world of scary Hollywood. Hollywouldn't, as Leguizamo says. But USC, do you think, makes better artists?
I mean, I don't know that many people from AFI. I don't have that much experience in these other schools, but I do believe in the education that you receive at USC. I do think it's a quality education. I think you just have to do a lot of ancillary work outside of it to learn the technical side of film.
Stay proactive. As they should teach at AFI. And maybe that's maybe the slight of AFI is these AFI students make their films and think they're the greatest filmmakers of all time. Perhaps that.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's the case. AFI students, forgive me. I still want to work with you. But
I still think USC is the best, though. Fight on.
Fight on. All right. Well, How's your football team doing? Let's talk about that.
I don't like football, so I don't care. That's not why I went there. Went like 4 games and they were so boring.
Yeah, I was at USC and watched my Notre Dame Fighting Irish stomp the shit out of your Trojans.
Oh, congratulations.
So good. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so we've talked about where you've come from. You started making films at a young age, and you went to USC, and you made a lot of films. You actually, and here's something that, like we said, stay proactive. You made a web series that we still need to push out soon called A Spy Within during the time that you were a student at USC. That's actually rather impressive to me because I don't know a lot of students. I think a lot of students get burned out while they're making because you have to make so many films, but you're always so hungry and so ambitious. Where does that come from?
I don't know. I have always just wanted to do more. Like, every time I'm working on a film, I just want to be working on more films.
Are you that really super ambitious person who's maniacal inside of their soul, who desperately needs to be the best filmmaker of all time?
I don't think I need to be the best filmmaker of all time. I don't know if I'm maniacal.
Well, I'm speaking from my own personal soul and looking for a compadre, a simpatico here.
I just want to make the best stuff I can and get it in front of as many people as I can.
Yeah.
But Spy Within was the biggest learning experience of my career.
Do you write like feature film scripts at all?
I've never written a feature. I've only written shorts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Michael needs a feature film script. So if you're a feature film screenplay writer, how can people get in
Good, and send your screenplay
in too. Seriously, let's plug you here a little bit. I mean, we're going to talk about what you're about to do. Your production coordinator, you said?
Mm-hmm.
How can people look you up? Give them, you don't have to give them your personal email, but let people know how to look up your work. And Schwarcz is a very interesting name. Is that German?
It's the Hungarian spelling of the German name Schwartz. Because it's not pronounced Schwarcz, it's pronounced Schwartz.
Total USC explanation right there.
Well, for some reason, Hungarians take the T's out of names and put C's instead. I have no idea why. It's just a thing.
So
it's just normal Schwartz, by the way.
SCHWARCZ.
Yes. C like cat, Z like zebra.
And you can find Michael on. He's got an IMDb page.
Mm-hmm.
I was pressing this kid back when he was in high school. I was like, get your ass on IMDb. Stop
You're
marketing.
The only reason why I have one.
Really?
Yeah.
You gotta push your marketing.
I do. I need to get more. I need to take a break on my IMDb. My marketing right now, it's not good enough right now. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, I'm building my website, MikeSchwartz.com.
Uh-huh.
And also, we're building a website for a production company, which is row5.co.
Who's that with?
That is myself, my DP, Connor Lambert, who you've
Connor
met before.
is the best. I'm glad you two are still working together.
Yeah, he's also my roommate.
Are you guys roommates?
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta come see Connor.
He was the guy who I've been working with Connor since sophomore year of high school.
Yeah. That is awesome, dude.
And then Ray, who
Ray is
in
great.
his movie. He's our head of post-production.
All right, we gotta all just sit down and get together. We'll order some pizza and
definitely
get some beers and talk. I didn't know you guys were all still hanging out.
Yeah.
So who else that we worked with? Because I worked with Ray on something about.
I mean, I know the movie exactly.
Meet Alfred.
Meet Alfred. That was it.
Meet Alfred, and I played this sleazeball who gets shot by a shotgun. It was so awesome.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a good guy. So wow.
Yeah.
So like you've done well with keeping these people around. That's so real quick. I keep thinking of all these thoughts. Give me like a quick couple of tips for maybe filmmakers that are in film school right now or aspiring filmmakers. Give me a couple tips on how to be successful and how to make it in Hollywood.
I mean, I definitely think the most important thing about making in this industry, everyone always says, the advice everyone gives is just networking. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're in film school, you have to find who you work well with, mm-hmm. and also people who you have to be able to have a good team.
Well, I've said this time and time again. I think, you pay your tuition for your education, but I think you pay more for your network because you've got your alumni network. You've got your teachers, and you've got the students that you started with who stick with you, and you were smart enough to hold them close and keep them with you and try to come up together. I love looking at how Francis Ford Coppola and Spielberg and Scorsese and De Palma and Oliver Stone and Robert Zemeckis, they all came up together as this unit because they all stuck together, and they all believed in each other, and they all worked on each other's films, and there's this story about Spielberg showing up on the set of Scarface, which is like the film that you would never think that Spielberg would come take a look at, and he's helping with I don't know if you know that film. There's a film where Tony Montana, played by Al Pacino, is in this club full of mirrors, and Spielberg helped to rig everything and make everything.
Oh, it's awesome.
Beautiful.
And
lovely. It's cool. So I mean, you got to stick together with the people that you meet and the people that you know, and we can't come up by ourselves.
Yeah.
We need other people. We need a movement of people, especially in this day and age when everyone's a filmmaker because we all have a camera on our phone. We've all got a YouTube account. We've all got a Vine account, a Vimeo account. We've all got one, and we are all speaking like this. So I mean, so networking. What else?
Honestly, just networking and getting experience. Yeah. Like I think those are the two most important things.
By any means possible.
Because like every single job that I've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Since I graduated school was based on a referral someone gave me. Someone gave someone else. Like a director was like, hey, I need a producer. And some guy's like, oh, I know someone. It's Mike. Or, oh, I really need an assistant director. Oh, well, Michael, he was my AD. You should talk to him.
That's the good thing that you were...
and then those people recommend me to other people.
Picky enough to say, I only direct.
Yeah, I think that's a big mistake.
I'll write, I'll AD, I'll PA, I'll be a producer's assistant, I'll... whatever, and I'll direct my own stuff, and when the time comes that people start offering me my director stuff, I will know. And that's the other thing, too, is, for me, I'll pat myself on the back here, is I'm so... Because I was like that. I'm only an actor. And then I was like, I've AD'd, held the boom, been a PA, like the bitch PA who goes and gets coffee, the bitch PA who's, like, locking up on the streets, the bitch PA who's in the office printing off sides. I've done all of that. I've been the assistant to the... making lunches and heating up the gluten-free tilapia and...
the gluten-free tilapia?
Whatever.
Does tilapia ever have gluten?
I don't know. And tofu. I don't know. Whatever. Hollywood food. I've done all that. I've been an AD many times, second AD. You dance around it, and it gives you more respect for your art form as well as everybody else's because you understand how a set works. I've been an extra. I've worked the you have to work all of it. You should go act in some student films.
I want to. I don't know if I want to act I want to take acting class. I don't know if I want to actually act in films, though.
Why not?
I don't know.
Pick up the experience. Figure it out.
But definitely knowing...
You know what's going to piss me off is if
really
put this seed in your head and you're like, yeah, you know what, I will. And then you win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor next year. I'm going to be so pissed.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's...
Hey, but don't put limits on yourself. I think that's one of the things we're trying to say, right?
Yeah, I guess that's... Yeah, true.
Pick up the experience. So network like a mofo.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up the experience. Give one more tip. Oh, let's dig in a little deeper. Everyone says network. Tell me how to network better.
I'm not very good at like going to like social events and networking and like handing out my card and stuff. I'm pretty bad at that. I'm a shy guy.
Those are so awkward.
I'm just bad at that.
I'm not good at it
I feel like
don't feel bad. I'm not shy, but I go there and I just feel like I'm not a whore. And I know that's not a fun word to say, but I'm not. I'm not going to be like, hello, I'm an actor. I'm very good. Here's my card. Hire me. No one's going to hire that guy. But it's okay to meet people and shake their hand and talk with them a bit, make them laugh, walk away. Meet them again, whatever, you know. And this town is small. You'd be surprised how quickly you start meeting everyone. I've been here 4.5 years, and I feel like everywhere I go, I see somebody I know. And it's just about keeping up and, like, not doing that thing where you see somebody and you're like, you both see each other, and then you go, yeah, but I didn't see you, so I'm just not going to say anything. Like, that's lame.
Yeah, it's definitely important to, like, keep up with all your contacts.
So one more thing. Give me one more tip.
Well, I mean, basically...
So let's do this for a really young filmmaker, too.
I'll combine two of these, because you said to expand on the networking.
Yes.
So I'll talk about how I network, and that includes the third tip.
Love it. Do it.
I basically... People, like... I network best with people when I'm actually working with them, when they actually see what I'm doing and what I'm capable of, and they actually enjoy working with me. And so basically, I never said no to anything. Whenever someone asked me to come on set, I always said yes. Because there were lots of films that I've said yes to, that I've gone and like worked on, that have been miserable experiences. The films were terrible, and someone on that set got me some way better job in the future. Like, I was on a set where I was the second AD, and the first AD had never first AD'd before. She had no clue what was going on.
So you're literally throwing tips from the sidelines as her... what do they call that?
I would follow. She was very quiet, and I would follow. And she had a very loud set with lots of people. And so
she'd be like, rolling, and he'd be like, rolling!
She'd be like, quiet on the set, and I'd be like, quiet on the set! Everyone would shut up when I yelled it.
Like that? Did your voice squeak?
Yeah, it would squeak like that. Quiet on the set. I can't yell quietly. I can only yell loudly.
Like Def Leppard.
I would overload your microphone with my AD voice.
Quiet on the set!
But so the director of that later on noticed me because I made his life so easy with because I coordinate all of his background extras.
A good AD is the key to a good set, and that's coming from being an AD, being a director, and being an actor.
That guy's gotten me 3 huge jobs since then.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell him my name.
Definitely, I will. He's a great guy.
We probably know that. You know what? We're gonna have to sit down and just figure out all the same people we know, because I feel like I said, it's not that big of a town, and that's the thing too. Don't be an asshole. That's
yeah. Never have an attitude on set.
No.
Yeah, people will remember that, and they will never want you back.
It's so like it. Here's the thing: when you go on set, it's very much like being in the military. Everything is called out in military style code. We talk on the walkie-talkies in military style. Everything is done very militaristic. So it's very easy to feel like you're in the middle of war, and it's very easy to complain. What we have to remember to do is take a step back and say, oh yeah, we're making movies. Like, it's the funnest, coolest thing that we can do on this planet. And when you get paid for it, especially, shut up and have fun.
Yes.
Even if you're a second AD and you got a asshole producer with a cigar in his mouth saying if you don't get those sides printed off in 5 minutes, as well as locking up the set because a PA just dropped out, you'll never work in this town again. Still have a smile on your face if you can. Try. You gotta at least try. And, because maybe that producer's an asshole, but, just don't contribute to it. Because that has that ripple effect, that full circle thing, that butterfly effect of if you're in an asshole mood, it's going to go to somebody else. They're going to be an asshole to somebody else. Before you know it, you have an asshole set, and that's not fun for anybody. And then the movie's shit, because there's some quality to the film that you're like, something's not right. It's when you watch a movie, it's either one of two things. Either the audio is bad, and you have to really be like, oh yeah, the audio's shit here. Or, for some reason, maybe it's got a bad sound mix. Or, it was just a bad set to be on.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a great script, a great director, and great actors, and you're like, why is this bad? Because no one was gelling on set.
And you just hired the wrong people. This wasn't a good team. Because it's a team effort. And there's a lot of experiences I've been in where, like, each department will, like, only care about itself. Yeah. And they're only looking out for themselves, and they're not thinking about the bigger picture of the film. Mm-hmm. They're just thinking, how can I make my life easier, and how can I get through the day?
Totally.
And you need people who are all thinking about how could we make the best movie possible and all come together.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, so real quick, we're out of time, but real quick, tell people what you tell me, because I'm very curious myself, what's coming up for you, what you got planned, and how we can find you online to look you up, because people are going to be interested.
Well, my big thing right now, as we mentioned, is I'm starting up a production company.
So what are the plans for the production company?
We're going to have a very big online presence.
YouTube?
We're going to start a YouTube channel. We're going to be releasing content on there on a regular basis.
Uh-huh.
And we're also going to be making commercials, short films, whatever people need. We're going to be there for them to be their one-stop shop for any type of production they need.
Okay.
It's called Row 5.
Are you going to be directing anything soon?
Yeah, we're going to be starting early next year.
Yeah? What are you do you have scripts ready?
We have scripts in development. We do not have scripts ready.
Well, it seems I won't be working for a while, ladies and gentlemen. Well, yeah, we'll definitely meet up and sit down and have some beers and pizza and talk and figure out. I got all these scripts. I write. Not that anyone cares about hearing me talk about this, but I write a lot, and I'm never going to direct these damn things, so I should just give them to you.
Dude, I'd love to read them.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Because if they could just be produced, like I've thought about that. I was like, what if like I fall off a cliff one day, and like
no one knows where you stored your scripts.
No one knows where my scripts are, and they don't get produced, and then no one, you know.
And then 30 years later, they find them, and it gets released as like the Stephen Bailey collection.
No one cares. They're like, who? There was this actor 30 years ago. He did this podcast. He was on Vine a little bit. He had a couple features. He was on like that Halle Berry. Never mind. We threw him. We burned the hard drive. So tell people they can find you. We spelled out your name, which is the Hungarian spelling in German, or the German
the
spelling
Hungarian spelling of the German name.
Whatever. So people can find you at MikeSchwarcz.com, which you're rebuilding.
Yes, it's terrible right now. It is garbage.
Is it still what it used to be?
No, it is garbage. It's even worse. I tried to build it, and I failed and gave up for a little bit, and it just looks terrible right now.
Are you an HTML guy? What do you use in WordPress?
No, I was using Squarespace. Squarespace is tough. I'm gonna use WordPress next time. Right now, we're building row5.co with WordPress.
Squarespace likes to sell a lot of ad space to podcasts. I don't know if I can keep that. Say Squarespace is awesome.
Squarespace was a little difficult for me to use. Try editing that
because their whole pitch is that it's
not.
easy.
It wasn't bad. Maybe I'm the idiot, but I might be the idiot.
Didn't you used to code?
Yeah, I used to. I built my whole old website with HTML and CSS.
Then why is Squarespace hard?
I don't know. I just didn't get it. I get WordPress.
Is it because it was done by Picasso and Tarantino and it's too abstract?
Yeah, I don't get it, man.
I
just look at the different colors and I'm like, why? I don't understand.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you're on IMDb. What social media are you on? And can people follow? Are you Instagram?
No.
No Twitter, no Instagram. No Vine.
I mean, we like Row 5 has all these things, but I don't personally.
Well, plug it.
Come on, you gotta. I mean, we are Row 5. Every single
RO like row.
ROWFIVE.
Where's that name?
.co.
Row.
Very first day of Intro to Cinema at USC. Our professor, who's just this legendary professor at USC that everyone always touts.
Who?
His name is Drew Casper. He's amazing, and he explained how he watches movies because he watches like 4 movies every week.
Let me guess, he sits in the 5th row.
5th row center. It's the best seat in the house, and I've always sat in 5th row center since then. Really? So we named our company Row 5 because we're all about the audience experience.
Does he know this, Mr.
No,
Casper?
he doesn't even know who I exist. I never talked to him.
What?
It was a huge. No, he was. It was like one of those like huge lecture hall classes.
Stadium seating and all
it was
that.
like at least like 300 people in every
Listen
class.
to me talk about the art form and learn.
He only teaches big classes.
He created Vimeo.
But I always sat front row center in his class.
You know what? I love to sit center as well. I don't know that I sit 5th row. I think that's a little close.
5th row is the best. Oh, but like not like when you walk into the theater, there's like the seats like way closer
the
to
shitty
the movie.
front seats that everyone.
It's the 5th
in.
row from the center aisle.
Tell me it's not a great feeling when those assholes walk in and they're late and they look at those front rows like, I don't want to sit here. Can you guys scoot over? No? Alright. And then they sit in those shitty seats and the whole
like
time.
The movie's already starting.
And then they walk out with their crooked necks and you're like, yeah, get here earlier and respect the art form, bitch.
So yeah, you never, like those seats don't count. Ignore those seats.
Okay.
Then count the first row from the stadium
weird
seating.
Row, stadium seating, go 5 rows up. That's actually pretty accurate. That's where I sit.
It is perfect.
So you're
I've
telling
never been in
me
the theater that's not the best
I'm a
row.
genius and I didn't even know it.
You said you're not sure it's the 5th row, so.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, then yeah, you figured it out. It's pretty simple. It's like center. It's like putting you like centered in the screen.
It's on audio recording that you said I'm a genius.
You are a genius. And a scholar. And a gentleman.
Wow. You've been drinking tequila tonight.
Yeah, that was a strong margarita, man.
That was a strong margarita.
Strong.
We were in such a rush. I made the shittiest margarita I've ever made. All right, we know you got to go. We know you got to go. You're prepping for your production coordinating gig, and you're going to the movies tonight. What are you going to go see?
I'm going to go see Bridge of Spies.
By what director? Is that Quentin Tarantino?
No, that's not Quentin Tarantino. That would be Spielberg.
Yeah. What happens if nothing happens for 40 minutes? Are you going to walk out?
I paid for a ticket, so probably not.
Oh, so you didn't pay for a Tarantino ticket to Reservoir Dogs, and you hated on it because you could.
I watched it on Netflix or something. Where did I watch it? Oh. I don't think I paid for it, though.
Will you do me a favor? Please just watch Reservoir Dogs all the way through. Even if you hate it, just do it for me. It'll make you a better filmmaker.
Okay.
You can learn as much from a bad movie as a good movie.
Okay.
Even though it's a
well, you have to sit through it with
movie.
me.
Okay, deal. Okay. Done.
We'll have a terrible movie night.
Through my podcast, and I thought you were going
to. I was petting your dog.
My dog is sitting here. Barney is with me. If anyone follows me on social media, you know I have a dog that I love a little too much. All right, so you're out of here. Thank you so much for coming, man.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
What'd you think? This is your first podcast.
Yeah, it was great. It was a
when
podcast.
You walked in, you were like, "Oh, it must be so hard to talk that much." How hard was it?
It was not difficult. You make it easy though, because you're an interesting person to talk to.
That means I'm weird. All right, we're out of here. We'll see you next time on Hollywood Happy Hour. Say bye.
Bye.